So this video topic kind of came to me last night as I was thinking about what uh, the galaxy's edge emptiness could mean. And you could look at it metaphorically for a dying franchise, if it's not dead already. Galaxy's Edge doesn't have anything there for people to see. It is devoid of meaning. It is devoid of what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Now let's look at Disney's sequel trilogy. What you get with the sequel trilogy is gloss, glitz, lots of cool effects, and that's on the surface. But what you get underneath, instead of the meaning, the richness, the lore, the mythology, heroism, the virtue, what you get under instead of that is nihilism, narcissism, shallow nothingness, nihilism. Because that is actually what the Disney sequel trilogy is. Let's go further. The lack of original trilogy characters at the park kill the past. But what's really interesting is that when you start thinking about it, when you really start looking at it, they say they kill the past, but they want the past to come back because when they need it, and they know they need it. Bob Iger and company aren't stupid, and he knows, though he'll never say publicly, that allowing what's been happening at Lucasfilm to continue for years has doomed the franchise. Does anybody honestly say they're actually going to go see Episode 9? Pay for it? Do you really want to? Have you noticed the lack of buzz surrounding this movie? No one cares anymore. And the reason, and except for the 5 fans that they think is their base. Now what's happened? Well, they cut out everything that Lucas had in Star Wars, the heroes, the connection to your heritage, the virtues of learning at the foot of a master, of a mentor. You have this idea that, Rey, as a character with no name, no last name, no real identity, can stand on her own. And we all know that that is not how the world works. See, Star Wars used to be a metaphor for how the world works. You go out as an adult, you crush the threshold, earn your first stripes as a grown human being, a man, or go into adulthood as a man or a woman from adolescence. But what you've got in this sequel trilogy, and the shallow imagery, the fakery, the faking Star Wars, is nothing but narcissistic identity politics, and something Star Wars was never supposed to be. You go to a Star Wars movie, even in the even during the prequel era, the politics were toned down and not ham-fisted to a point where you were insulted. Now you go in, and most of the audience is insulted, if not by the virtue of being the person that is being attacked for being white, male, white, female, white, or male in general. How about they're being insulted because their intellect is being insulted? And this is addressed to Bob Iger and to Abigail Disney and other voting shareholders. Is this what you wanted? Really? Star Wars is dying, if not dead, because of the lack of care and attention that you people paid. There's a reason why George Lucas called Disney white slavers. There's a great cartoon of a cow, a skinny cow, basically dead on its feet, with Star Wars stamped on it, and Mickey skipping to get more milk. There's nothing left. But when you allow people who are virtue signaling, narcissistic sociopaths like Chuck Wendig, Claudia Gray, Daniel Jose Older and others to write novels that no one reads. And if you do happen to glom onto one, you set it down after 10 minutes because you can't get through it because it's horrible. The poor comic book writing, the out and out lecturing to fans because we didn't like an actor in a film. The attacks on fans, your base, by people who work for you at Lucasfilm, Pablo Hidalgo, his wife Kristen, and other Lucasfilm employees. You know who I'm talking about. Auntie Gutierrez is one of them. And you wonder why the park is empty. There's no talent there. No one has any vision anymore. No one knows what Star Wars means anymore. The metaphor of how Galaxy's Edge is the exact verbatim reflection of the sequel trilogy franchise is perfect. There's no one there. No one wants it. There's nothing of Star Wars there. It's a galaxy with no meaning to it. It's a great big empty boring money pit. And the sequel trilogy is nothing but a great big empty insulting boring money pit where no one put any talent, any vision, any ideas, and did not build on what George Lucas created. All they did, like the Taliban in Afghanistan in 2001, was blow it sky high like the Bamyan Buddhas in Afghanistan. It's akin to taking a sewer, a hose, a pressure hose, sticking one end in the sewer and pointing the other, the talking end, at the Mona Lisa and setting it on full blast, which is exactly what Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy have done. She's been quoted, narcissistically crowing about how many vaginas she has working there. And are they talented? Really? Are they? No. She's been quoted she doesn't care about what the fans think. Well, look at Galaxy's Edge. Look at the lack of interest in Star Wars. It's a question. Mr. Iger, do you really even care? Because if I were you, I would. Is this the way you want to leave Disney? You got a hold of Lucasfilm and saw it destroyed on your watch. Ms. Disney, is this how you want your grandfather's company to be looked at by millions of people who flocked, who aren't going there anymore? Because there's a good reason. And it's not just Star Wars. No one's going to Disneyland. No, maybe it's because where it is in California, no one really wants to go to California anymore because of so many problems going on there. I don't know. But the fact is, Galaxy's Edge and Star Wars itself should be teeming. And just like the sequel trilogy, it's fallen flat on its face. Because what you get in the sequel trilogy, when you scrape it out and look underneath, nihilistic, cynical, dark vision of what Star Wars means. And the thing about it is Star Wars was always about hope. And there's no hope in the sequel trilogy at all. You can sit there and tell us that, but after sitting there going through the less than mediocre The Force Awakens, and then you go into the less than horrible, the beyond horrible, The Last Jedi, and we're supposed to be happy to see The Rise of Skywalker. And the thing that bothers me so much is how you treated, on the opening of A Galaxy's Edge, you treated the actors and George Lucas, cynically trotting all of them out so you could get people to come, the fans, knowing perfectly well we wouldn't see Han Solo, we wouldn't see Luke Skywalker, wouldn't see Lando. You did everything wrong because you don't know what Star Wars is about. And what we get at Galaxy's Edge is the tangible evidence that it's nothing more that Star Wars Disney is nothing more than a narcissistic, cynical, dark, self-aware dumpster fire. Mr. Iger, I don't think that's the way you want to go out. I'm not sure. But at the very end, the person who's most responsible for this, Mr. Iger, is you. Because last summer at this time, you had a chance to remove the problems that were being that were causing the demise of Star Wars. And instead, you didn't. Because you're too afraid to fire a woman. And in the real world, where the rest of us live, that pony don't run. You understand? And I'm pretty sure in your previous life, before you got to be Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, you were very easily happy to fire people when they screwed up, when they were incompetent. Now, we get Kathleen Kennedy. We get Super Ray. We get Jake Skywalker. We get, I don't even know what that was with Han Solo. Kill the past. Well, you can try, but remember, that'll always come up and bite you. Because you can try to put it behind you, but the past always comes back. Not just to haunt you, but it's a part of who you are. And in order to create great Star Wars, you have to respect it, take care of what was there, and venerate it. You have to venerate what George Lucas built. And all you've done is built a monument to the self-aggrandizement of a very small number of people who have obvious narcissistic issues, who can't just watch a story. And you've allowed people with agendas to take the story apart and turn it into a political diatribe. Like I said, narcissistic, nihilistic, cynical. And Galaxy's Edge, like I said, is the physical evidence of what the sequel trilogy is. And if I were you, I'd be very embarrassed. If I were you, I'd apologize to George Lucas. If I were you, I'd apologize to Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Billy D. Williams. Ask Carrie Fisher for forgiveness. Ask Peter Mayhew and Kenny Baker. You honestly think bringing Palpatine back is going to make us want to go see this? You really think bringing Lando back after everything you've done to Han and Luke is going to make us come to see this? No. Why? Because the sequel trilogy is narcissistic, nihilistic, and cynical. And that's not what George Lucas meant Star Wars to be, my friend. You have a choice. You could have fixed it last year. You chose not to. There's still people working there at Lucasfilm who are horrible, who should have been fired immediately after everything went down. Because we all know about the meeting. We all know about that meeting last summer. Everybody knows. We all know that Paulo Hidalgo is bitch slapped. Why is he still there? His presence hurts the company. His wife's presence hurts the company. Andy Gutierrez's presence hurts the company. Is the reason why they're still there because they're not white? That's bullshit. This should be about merit. Content of character, not color of skin. Again, this is narcissistic, nihilistic, and cynical. And it's also racist because you don't expect them to behave in a civilized manner towards your fellow man. Because of what? They're Latino, they're women. Big deal. They have to act like adults, they're professionals. Okay? That's not how you run a company. I know that. You've lost it. No one's going to see the rise of Skywalker. You can sit there and protest all you want, and I'll tell you something else, and then I'll let you go. This isn't just hurting Lucasfilm, this is hurting all of Disney. Look at Galaxy's Edge. You yourself now look at it as a failure. Why? Because no Star Wars fans like narcissism, like nihilism, and we're not cynical, and we're not dark. Okay? Just my 2 cents. You basically created a physical metaphor for Lucasfilm with Galaxy's Edge. Well done, Mr. Iger. Well done.